The neon lights of the city market reflected in puddles along the cracked streets. It was late, far past when most vendors had closed, yet Jessa moved with purpose, weaving through the stalls with her coat pulled tight against the chill. Her eyes flicked constantly, scanning the faces of the few remaining shoppers and workers. Most had disappeared into the night, leaving shadows to fill the gaps between flickering hollow signs and the hum of distant maglev trains. She clutched a small, reinforced crate in her hands, its contents clinking softly with each step. Inside were the knives, 4 of them, crafted with materials that were illegal in most sectors of the city. They weren't ordinary knives either. Their edges shimmered with a strange, almost imperceptible energy, one that had cut through the alloyed skin of the Zirin child without leaving a trace of blood. Jessa had never imagined herself buying such things. In fact, she had spent most of her life trying to avoid trouble. But trouble had a way of finding people like her, and tonight it had the face of an alien child. She ducked into a narrow alleyway, breathing in the sharp metallic scent of ozone and refuse. The child waited there, crouched on the edge of the drainage canal, its skin a muted shade of violet that glowed faintly in the darkness. Its eyes were too large, black as obsidian, and they watched her with something between curiosity and fear. "You brought them?" the child whispered, its voice like glass scraping against glass. Jessa nodded, setting the crate down carefully. "They'll help you, but you have to promise me you'll be careful." The child's hands trembled as it picked up the knives, testing the weight and balance. "I know how to use them," it said, though the lie was transparent. "I've watched enough." Jessa's stomach tightened. Watching wasn't enough. She knew that, but it was all she could do for the child, who was more hunted than hidden, more prey than passenger in a galaxy that had long forgotten the morality of survival. Before she could say anything more, a ripple of energy cut through the air, a vibration that made the hairs on her neck stand on end. She turned just in time to see them. The Queen. She didn't look like royalty, at least not in any human sense. Her skin was a deep, reflective black, like liquid night, and her eyes were a swirl of violet and gold that seemed to pull the light out of the air. Behind her, the guards moved with eerie synchronization, tall and slender with armored exoskeletons that hummed faintly as they flexed. Their presence alone made the shadows bow and bend, the air thickening around Jessa and the child. "Step away from the child," the Queen said, her voice a melody that somehow carried away the command and a threat at once. Jessa froze, mind racing. There was no escaping, not through the streets, not through the alleyways, not through the market. "I'm not going to hurt it," she said carefully, her hands raised in a gesture of surrender. The Queen tilted her head, considering her. Then, with a movement too fast for the human eye, one of the guards was in front of Jessa, its arm extending into a blade of energy. Jessa's heart skipped. The child stepped between them, brandishing one of the knives like a fragile shield. "Don't touch her," it said, voice steadier than before. The Queen's eyes narrowed. "She gave you weapons. You were supposed to be helpless." The child's lips quivered. "I need to survive." "And you will," the Queen said softly, almost regretfully, "but not like this." The tension stretched thin, like a wire ready to snap. Jessa felt sweat bead on her forehead. The knives felt heavier in the child's hands now, like the weight of all possible futures resting on their edges. Then, without warning, the child lunged, not at the guards, but at Jessa. The knives didn't strike her. They hovered, suspended in midair, as if obeying some silent command. Jessa stumbled back, confusion flooding her. What? The child's eyes glowed brighter. I can't let them take me, it whispered. And for the first time, Jessa understood this wasn't just about survival. This was about autonomy, about being seen as more than a prize to be claimed by a queen whose cruelty was legendary across galaxies. The queen's gaze softened, a flicker of something almost human passing over her features. I am not cruel, she said. I am necessary. You cannot comprehend the balance I maintain. Balance. Jessa echoed, incredulous. By hunting children? They are not children in the way you understand, the queen said, stepping closer. They are catalysts. Their potential is dangerous. Unchecked, it could destroy worlds. The child backed up, knives spinning around it like a halo of light. Then I'll destroy myself first. Jessa's chest tightened. She had to act. She couldn't let this child face annihilation at the hands of anyone, not even a queen. Stop, she shouted, and without thinking, she lunged forward, grabbing the child's wrist. The knife stilled, clattering harmlessly to the ground. The queen's eyes flared with surprise, then something else, respect perhaps, or curiosity. You are brave, she said. Or foolish, Jessa countered, keeping her grip tight. The queen laughed softly, a sound that seemed to bend the darkness around them. Perhaps both. But bravery and foolishness are the same thing to us humans, are they not? The air shifted. The guards relaxed slightly, though their weapons still hummed, a constant reminder of the lethal potential around them. Jessa looked at the child. Its eyes were wide, pupils dilated with fear and uncertainty. You don't have to do this alone, she said. I'll help you. The child hesitated, then slowly nodded. I don't know what to do. Then start by putting the knives down, Jessa said gently. The queen stepped closer. Perhaps there's another path, she said. One that does not require bloodshed. Her voice carried a weight that made the words undeniable. You have the potential to change the rules, not just survive them. Jessa felt the tension begin to ebb, replaced by something like hope. The queen extended a hand, not in threat, but in alliance. Bring the child to my palace. Learn. Train. Become what you were meant to be. The child looked at Jessa, then back at the queen. Its hands were still trembling, but the knives had stopped spinning. Finally, it let out a long, shaky breath. I will try, it whispered. Jessa exhaled, relief flooding her body. Good. That's all anyone can ask. The queen nodded. Come. The night will not last forever, and neither will the dangers that hunt you. Together, they walked from the alley into the night, the neon lights reflecting off the queen's dark skin, the child's violet glow lighting their path. The market, once alive with tension, now seemed almost peaceful, as if it had been holding its breath for this moment. As they reached the edge of the city, the queen's palace rose from the horizon like a fortress of obsidian and light. Its spires cut into the sky, each one a beacon of power and promise. The child clutched Jessa's hand, stepping forward with a tentative courage born of desperation and newfound trust. Jessa glanced at the queen. Are you really going to let it learn? The queen's eyes shone. It is not just learning. It is evolving. And perhaps in time, it will teach even me something new. The journey inside was silent at first, filled with the sound of their footsteps echoing against alien architecture. But Jessa could feel the energy of the place, a rhythm like the pulse of a living organism. The walls hummed, the air shimmered, and she realized that this palace, this queen, and this child were all part of something far larger than herself. When they reached a chamber filled with soft, shifting lights, the queen finally spoke. "Here you will be safe. Here you will grow. And here you'll understand that survival is not just about avoiding death. It is about choosing how to live." The child let go of Jessa's hand, kneeling before the glowing floor as if in prayer. The knives, now forgotten, lay at the edges of the room, harmless. Jessa watched, a mix of awe and worry tightening her chest. "I hope you're ready for this," she said softly. The child looked up, eyes shining with a mixture of fear and determination. "I have no choice," it said. "But maybe that's enough." The queen placed a hand on the child's shoulder, a gesture both regal and protective. "It is more than enough. And you, human, have done well. Few would have stood between me and my prey." Jessa smiled faintly, though exhaustion weighed her down. "I just wanted it to have a chance." "And now it does," the queen said, "thanks to you." Outside, the night stretched endlessly, the city below still alive, unaware of the small act of rebellion and compassion that had just occurred. Inside, a child would learn to wield power, a human had found courage, and a queen had glimpsed a new way forward. The knives, once instruments of fear, now lay dormant, symbols of choice rather than necessity. And in that quiet, strange moment, Jessa understood something profound. Sometimes the smallest actions could change not just lives, but worlds. And for the first time in a long while, the night felt like it belonged to them all.